I was married for 19 and a half years. We have 2 beautiful children. Just started out as a gradual process. You know, the first time there's a fight, it could be something as small as getting shoved, somebody breaking something in the house and you getting hit with a piece of it, and then it just gradually escalates from there. Things were good at times, and then when bad hits, it gets really bad. There were many times they know that I put myself in harm's way when they were in danger. I made sure that I got in between and I took the brunt of it. This would have been the actual 3rd documented case through the system. Of course, there were many others prior to that. It had started with just kind of a general argument that escalated. Then we were trying to come in the house, and he pushed me back out on the porch and he hit me. I went down on the porch. I got up, he hit me again. The second time I got up, he hit me harder and I went flying down the steps and landed face first on the ground at the bottom of the steps. Actually, that decision was made for me on November 9th of 2013. My husband and I had an altercation. I managed to escape when he pulled a gun out from under the bed. I ran to my mother's house, called for help, and by the time I got back to the house to try to retrieve my children, the police were already there. Actually, the detective that came into the emergency room to take photographs of me, and he told me, he said, "I don't know if you understand this or not." And he said, "This probably is going to come off wrong." He said, "But you're one lucky lady." And I really did not feel very lucky right then. But almost 3 years later, I definitely was lucky because there was nothing I did right. And so all I would tell people is protect yourself. Nobody else is going to do it. You have to learn how to stand up for yourself. You have to, it's a whole different way of thinking. I'm a survivor by luck. I did not do the right things, and I should have long before. I would have protected myself and my children a lot sooner. I obviously was not strong enough to, and the decision that he made is what actually ended it. At his funeral service, I had a black eye. I was taken to the emergency room afterwards. I had to have CT scans, and I actually went and asked for help. I was in counseling for a little while. Believe it or not, one of my main rocks in this whole thing has been his mother. She's a wonderful lady. She loved her son. I loved him too, but she knew who and what he was, and she truly wants what's best for me and the children. I wish I had done things quite differently. I loved him. I know everybody tells people, get out the first time. It's a hard thing to do. I wasn't strong enough, but I've had to become that way. I don't think it's something you ever get over, that it becomes a part of you. Unfortunately, I believe some people let it tear them down and take them back down the same roads. I'm not saying I'm not even immune to that myself, but at a certain point you have to have what I refer to as my epiphany, and I realized that that really isn't how it's supposed to be, and it doesn't have to be that way. That it's not their fault. It also is a large mind game. The manipulation of convincing you that somehow you brought it on yourself. That's an emotional thing that you have to really get past. And that's really one of the hardest things to overcome, because it gets bad. They convince you you've done something wrong. You end up apologizing for things that weren't your fault. And then things get better. I've had officers explain to me that it goes through the cycle. It gets bad, it blows up, then they're sorry, then the honeymoon phase starts, and everything's great, but it always comes back around. I just feel like there's a reason I survived. And it isn't by anything that I did right, only by the grace of God.